Alright guys, so I want to start this video with a story. I want to know if you've heard this story before. I posted this on Instagram the other day, okay? It's the story of the man, it's very short by the way, very short. It's the story of the man and the dog with the rusty nail, okay? So, it goes like this. There's an old man sitting on his porch, right? And he's got his dog laying next to him. And his dog is whimpering very softly because he's laying on a rusty nail, right? And, you know, the old man is trying to nudge this dog, but the dog won't move. And then the neighbor comes over to talk to him, and he says, hey, you know, I see your dog's on that rusty nail. Why doesn't he move off of that rusty nail? And the old man just says, because it doesn't hurt enough. And that's where this video goes, guys. So this has to do with fitness, but this has to do with the current situation in the world and why preparing and being proactive about things is so important. I'm going to stick mainly to health, but as this channel evolves, I will talk about other topics as well. You guys know, you guys will learn to know that I like to talk about all manner of stuff, especially world events, conspiracy theories, as the normies call it. But, so, the rusty nail. A lot of people are on that rusty nail right now, right? In different areas of life. And they don't move because it doesn't hurt enough. Because people only generally change for one of two reasons: inspiration or desperation. Sometimes you see something that just inspires you to hell. You know what it, well, inspires the hell out of you. How about that? You go see a movie, right? That's just riveting, great acting, great soundtrack, great music, great directing. The actors are great, and you just feel so invigorated. You hear a song, it just makes you want to go work out. You hear a story, you hear about someone climbing Mount Everest after going through a bunch of injuries and sicknesses. You see what I'm saying? You're inspired, right? And there's not a lot of inspiration in the average day, right? Let's be honest. You go about your day, and most things are pretty monotonous. You go to work, you deal with miserable employees, coworkers that are pretty much lying that they're not miserable, but they really are. People put on the fake face. We don't really know how tough it is for most people, even though when you really look at the statistics, most people are like one small emergency away from catastrophe financially. But that's not the point that I want to get at. You either change because of inspiration, which I just talked about, or desperation, right? That's when the rusty nail starts to puncture you a little bit more. You're wiggling around on it. You just can't get comfortable. And you know what? It's just like, I got to move. I got to get up and I got to go to a new spot, a better place. Get off of that rusty nail. And I think that as a society, and a lot of people, if you watch this kind of content, are already going to be aware that our country has essentially been coddled for a long time. And now we're moving through what I've heard called the fourth turning, the Great Reset by the World Economic Forum. You can call it whatever you want. We're going through a controlled demolition of society for most people, where systems are crashing and burning, and something new comes about us. Take the data centers, for instance. I'll just come up with a few examples if you really don't know what's going on around here, okay? These data centers are popping up by the thousands all over the country. Nobody wants them. Like the average person, you ask people, nobody wants them, right? But they go up anyway. They go up by these people and these companies. Let this truck pass real quick. Trying to get into a spot where there's not a lot of people. But they're going up by these companies that essentially have been belaboring us ad nauseum for years about how bad for the environment we are and how you need to, I remember like people, you know, save water, don't take as long of showers, There's water shortages. Now that you're talking about pumping millions of gallons a day through data centers. But the point is not the data centers for this video. It's just one example of how it's being forced down our throats. A lot of people are starting to realize that we are just cattle, financial cattle. We're cattle for these giant corporations. We're cattle for the food industry, the fast food industry. We're just like, we're siphoned. We're siphoned by a vampiric system, right? A vampiric system that convinces us through school and society and Hollywood and mass media and social media and just propaganda organs of all sorts. And then what happens is people around us become propagandized and programmed, and then we self-program society ourselves. And then a lot of us, some of us, really start to see what's going on, and we're ostracized in a good way, which I will get to in this video. But, so, a vampiric society, right, that convinces us that we should go to school, sit there for hours upon hours during our most entrusting years as kids, when we should be out playing and learning about nature and things like that, so you're stuffed into a concrete bunker with some socialist or communist up there rambling about who knows what, probably not even true, and then essentially go get a job. And after, maybe if you're lucky, this is the thing I've been on lately, is the financial part, the financial aspect. I'm really focused because I don't like, and this has to do with what I just said, I'm trying not to bounce around too much in these videos. I'm getting better, but I don't agree with this idea that you work your ass off, and then when you're 65, if you make it that long, that's only about 9 years before the average lifespan. If you make it that long, then you retire from that job and get to enjoy your golden years. When your golden years are like I would say your 40s, 50s into the retirement age. And I mean, if you have lived a great life like that, and then obviously you can have a great life at 70 or even 80 or even 90 if you treat yourself right. But I'm just saying, in general, the vampiric society has convinced us that that is okay, because it siphons your life force all the way until the end. 65, I mean, if you make it that far. But the main point of my video here is the nail is starting to become a little bit too rusty. It's a little too sharp for people. They're waking up, right, in droves. And a lot of people aren't prepared. I'm certainly not totally prepared. I knew a lot of this stuff was coming years ago, and I still made stupid decisions. So I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying that, it's like it usually doesn't hit people full force until it hits them square in the face. Like it's too late. The nail's punctured a vital organ, and now you've got a real problem on your hands. And now you can't just move. Now you've got to deal with that, right? Gas prices, they're going to continue to go up. Inflation is going to continue to go up. The lies are going to continue to come. The false flags, the weird narratives, the stories, the fear-mongering is going to continue to come as long as people buy into it. As long as they continue to read the newspaper and hook, line, and sinker believe all these things that are happening. The surveillance state rolls in, the data centers roll in, AI is going to take half of people's jobs. I feel sorry for these kids that are going to college right now, by the way, unless you're in a very specialized degree. If you're going to school, like I know some people that are going, I've heard of some people that I know that are going to school for like coding. It's like, dude, your job is already taken. Like, it's already gone. What do you think it's going to be like in 4 or 5 years from now? It's going to be like, it's almost like going to school to run a cotton gin or something. anyway, what I'm saying here is that there is still time, not a lot, but to prepare for what's coming. And one of the best things you can do for that and I try to make somewhat of a focal point of this channel, is your health and fitness. No matter what, you want to be a healthy person because it's going to make you more effective at every other aspect of your life. Whether it's financial, relationships, obviously, whether you want to travel, or whether there is an actual emergency. Let's say that you actually, let's say like real emergencies, like there's some kind of natural disaster, like your house gets ruined by, I don't know, a flood, a fire, war, data center comes in and eminent domain, they just take your land. It happens. You know, things like that. You got to be physically prepared to make a move. If you weigh 500 pounds and you're sick all the time, you're going to have a hard time dealing with normal things in life, much less disasters. But the rusty nail, oh God, of course I forgot to put it on airplane mode. No, not going to answer the spam call while I'm making a video. So the rusty nail, we are laying on that rusty nail. The United States of America, the Western countries are laying on the rusty nail. And it's time to move. Because again, the whole point of this video is to say, like, don't wait until the last minute, because you're gonna end up really getting screwed and really getting, like, you're gonna get the truth in your face like a big old bucket of cold, ice cold water, right? Not good. And then by then you're in survival mode, and there's not a whole lot that can be done. Because there is a lot that you still can do. Like, as these things get worse, and I want to harp on one thing before I move on to this last topic, and that is, people are going to blame whatever they can externally to take away their responsibility, right? Let's look at the main ones, and I see them on social media a lot. Obviously, politics is always going to be a huge one, right? When blue team gets in, evil orange man will be gone, and then somehow, because of reasons, you know, the D party will make things better. How? I have no idea, and they won't, by the way. It'll just continue. Like, all the main problems will continue. The inflation will continue. The corruption will continue, the wars will continue, but and then people can flip-flop and blame other sides in this left-right paradigm paradox, you could call it. And you know, people will blame why is the minimum wage? I wish they would just pay me more. You know, how many times you see that? You know what? I wish they would too. But you also have to understand economics. Like when that happened in California, Gavin Newsom, you know, because California, as we call it, they raised minimum wage at a bunch of these fast food places, and there was like 30,000 firings instantly, because people don't understand that when you raise minimum wage, the business has to pay for it, and they're either going to, they got to lower the cost. These businesses generally, as much as people think that a lot of these, like especially smaller businesses, or even if you're like a McDonald's franchise owner, they're not rolling in the dough. These aren't the CEOs of these companies. These are just basically small restaurant owners. And it gets harder and more expensive by the year because of the things we just talked about with the inflation, the commercial rent, and all the property taxes, all that stuff goes up for them as well. And they still want to pay their employees more, but then they also have to raise the price of their stuff. And then customers don't come in. It doesn't just work. You cannot just depend on the government to come in and save you. That's what I'm saying. But there's so many things that you can do on the side. Like, for instance, I have a Shopify site. So you can start a Shopify site. You can sell things. You can do Etsy. You can sell things online. You can buy and flip things and sell things online. You can do a lot of things. Think of what would happen if you put an extra $500 in your bank account each month. How much that would do consistently for you. That would cover a lot of this inflation, I think, for most people. Just $500 a month, right? Cover the rise in gas, cover the rise in groceries, as long as you're buying the same amount of stuff for you and your family. And then if you're really getting crafty and you use social media, you can make money doing things off TikTok. You can make money off Instagram. You can make money off obviously off Facebook. You can actually make money off Facebook. I made $9 last month for the first time on Facebook, monetized. It's kind of funny. And I think that's a great story, by the way, because people are like, that's $9. I'm like, dude, do you realize if I got the mindset where I'm like, if I can make $9, that means I can make $90, which means I can make $900, et cetera, right? You got to have the entrepreneurial mindset a little bit. And it doesn't mean everyone's going to go start their own business or something. I'm not saying that, but there is a lot of opportunities that were not there before. Think of before the internet and smartphones. Smartphones are a whole can of worms, obviously. They're a pain in the ass. Social media has ruined people psychologically, and it's done a lot of damage to society. But if you use it as, what is the saying? It's a great servant, terrible master. If you use you have an ATM. I had one of my mentors say it just perfectly. He's like, do you realize you're walking around with an ATM in your pocket? The smartphone. There's so many ways you can make money while you're on the road. You can be traveling across the world and you can still coach people on different aspects of life. You could be a fitness coach. You could write workout plans. You can write nutrition plans. I know people that are doing there's a thing called School, SKOOL, extremely popular right now by Alex Hormozi. I recommend looking into it. I don't use it myself, but I know a lot of content creators that do. You can create online communities. I'm spitballing here. The options are limitless in the next few years. And you can use AI. I don't recommend making AI videos because I'll never really do that because I want to be authentic. But you can do these things and actually like reverse, instead of just like sitting around moping like most people do. What do I do? What do I do? It's like here, it's not like what do I do? It's what can I do? What can't I do? It's literally like, what can't you do? A lot of this stuff is free too. You can post online for free. You can make content for free. And I'm not saying you have to be a content creator, but content creating is also just called marketing these days, right? So guys, I'm gonna leave it there. I gotta go get a haircut. I gotta get ready for a long flight. But if you are interested at all, and I've got some 21-day challenges that I do once a month, every single month. It goes through an app. It's a huge community. It's through our nutrition company. It's awesome. If you have any interest in that, you can email me. Email's in the bio, or leave a comment. I do one-on-one personal training online. I do nutrition coaching online, all that stuff. Otherwise, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.